Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite and one of the most empowering cards of the tarot deck, the High Priestess. Now this illustration is one we all know very well. This is the High Priestess from the Rider-Waite Smith deck, created all the way back in 1909 by Arthur Edward Waite and illustrated by Pamela Coleman Smith. Here's the box it comes in, and you can see this is the 100% plastic Rider Tarot deck, and you'll be seeing a lot of this, I think, in my videos coming up, because as summer comes back around, I really want to start doing readings at the lake. I want to see what energy comes up when you're on the water and stuff. I practiced a little bit last year, but I never took videos of it. And it's amazing how often members of the cup suit, you know, the waters and emotions and stuff, would come up while I was at the lake. We'll talk about that some more, in other videos. But we'll just talk about the High Priestess. And what I really want to do with this video is share 5 of my favorite illustrations of this card, other than just this one. Now, don't get me wrong, this illustration is absolutely fantastic. There is so much symbology in the Rider-Waite Smith decks. There's nothing that can really compare to them. If you're a beginner, as I talked about before, this is the perfect deck for you. You can see the pomegranates in the background. That's symbolic of stuff. The black and white pillars here, Boaz and Wat Queen. I probably pronounced those a little bit wrong, but that's what I do sometimes. They're pillars, and I believe they relate to the Temple of Solomon. And it's like knowledge and wisdom, like learning from the past is your power. And that's a lot of the meaning of the High Priestess, trusting your intuition, feeling confident enough to trust it, and really following your own path and being true to yourself. Just learning from the past, that's a big part of it. And she's really calm and collected. You can see in the illustration there, she has a very calm look on her face. She's got the Torah in her hands, or in her arms, so she's very knowledgeable about everything, and she doesn't let her emotions get in the way. There's a lot of darkness in our past, like humanity's past, but if we can look past that and find the knowledge, the wisdom, the lessons to be learned from that, we can make better choices moving forward. And then the 2 up here, relates to choices. So really taking the time to think everything through helps us make important choices in our lives. And we have the moon down here, which kind of shows having compassion for yourself, and again, intuition. So it's a major card about trusting your intuition and really believing in yourself. And what I love, I call this an empowering card. And that's because whenever it comes up in a reading, and this is one of the first things I ever learned about it, is when it comes up, you can believe that you can be a tarot reader too, because this is the tarot reader card of everywhere. When this card comes up, it says, hey, you've got the gift too. But I'll let you in a little secret, and I've probably said this in the past too. You don't have to be psychic or anything like that. You just have to trust in your own inner voice. Anybody can be a tarot reader, whether this card comes up for you or not. So that's a little look at just the Rider-Waite Smith one. And then we're going to move on. I'm going to show you 5 different illustrations. The last one's going to be a little bit more than, one card. But we'll get to that. And I want to show you the cards that I really think embrace this energy, and my favorite High Priestess cards of any deck. Up first, we have the first deck I've ever received in my collection, and it was the High Priestess. Actually, all of these that I'll show you, it's the High Priestess that really made me want the deck. So we've seen the box before. I actually did a video a few weeks ago about this deck. And we have the High Priestess right here, and you can see she's taking that ball and she's putting into the veil. So she's really connected to the other side, and that's another thing about the High Priestess, being connected to the powers that be, to the veil, to the other side, and being open to the answers that come through to it. And then that blue energy that you saw with the Rider-Waite Smith as well, and the blue of this kind of relates to logic. So it goes back to that energy of not letting emotions get in the way. Looking back at the past, I'm just going to use this as an example, the Salem witch trials and all that just hatred and fear that they had about these people that had powers and gifts and stuff, and persecuting them because they did. That can bring up a lot of negative emotions even today. But if we can look past it and just really accept people the way they are, that makes the world a better place for everyone. I was mentioned this card right here. If it comes up in a tarot reading, that says you have the gift too, and you really can start trusting your intuition more, and maybe even reading the cards. This is the first card that I ever drew in a tarot deck, and I was so excited about it. And you can see here, there's a little bit of damage to it, but this, like I said, is the first deck in my collection, so it does have a little bit of wear and tear. All in all, it's a still very high quality deck. It still looks good. That little dent right there, I don't mind. And you can see the B and the J there too, so it connects back to the Rider-Waite Smith as well. And I just really love that illustration of it, like the power that it shows, the mountains in the background, her putting the power up to the powers that be. And, you know, I trust you. I trust my own inner voice and the connection I have to you. So that's one of my favorites. This is no particular order. I don't have like this is my 5th favorite, 4th favorite, or anything like that. So we'll move on to the next one. Up next, I'd like to show you the one from the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Kranz, or Kim Kranz. Again, me and pronunciation and I, not the best. So we'll get into the deck. This is like a very good gift box. But what I really like about the box itself is the actual little box inside. It's just, you know, the same size as the Healing Light Tarot that we just met a moment ago. So really easy to just take it on the go if you want to do that. And I know it looks like I made this really easy and I'm really that good, but I went through the decks and I put the High Priestess on the top so I could do this more easily. Now this High Priestess, not a person, you can very clearly see there that this is a tiger. And that's what I really love about it. And the only color we have is that orb down here, which relates back to that kind of orb that we saw with the High Priestess of the Healing Light. So they're all kind of connecting, you know, using that power from beyond and really taking the time to look within and trust the powers of the universe. And then like the way this one is like sitting, you can kind of think of it as a crystal ball and like looking into it to see find the answers that you seek. And with the tiger being the illustration here, like representing the High Priestess, there is an inner animal aspect to it that I don't necessarily see with a lot of other decks. So really connecting with that whole part of ourselves, even that inner animal that we might be scared of sometimes. And this relates to the moon as well of the major arcana further up. I believe it's 18 of the major arcana. So that shows like embracing everything we are to really trust those inner voices a little bit more. But I really love this illustration because of that tiger. Like cats in general are like my favorite animal. That and crows, but we knew that already. But it shows like just, you know, not ignoring parts of ourselves that we may not appreciate as much or we may fear because other people have told us that they're not good enough or something like that. And it's really embracing all of who we are so we can really trust those inner voices. Up next, I'd like to share the High Priestess from the Zombie Tarot. Now, this was part of my top 10 mass market decks as well. I think a few of these might have been, because, you know, it's not just one card in the deck that I absolutely love. It's so many of them. Like, you look online, like, go to Instagram and type in the deck you want, like, put the little hashtag symbol beside it, and you can become obsessed with a deck that you've never seen before. Another great way of doing it, and this deck in particular is really good for this because it does exist. I know that I have it myself. Is the apps like on your phone that you can get as well. I know Google Play has them. I assume the App Store on Apple has them as well. And for like $3.99, I think you can get this deck, like all 78 cards, on your phone every day. Like I have it set up as widgets, I think, where you like swipe on the screens. Yeah, if I was better at editing videos, I could show you what I'm talking about right now. But these cards, like, you can see what they look like for $4 before you go out and buy the actual deck. I think this deck is around like 16, 17. It might have gone up recently. I'm not sure, but definitely the High Priestess in this deck is one of my absolute favorites. I love this illustration. I love the fire. I love just the darkness that's in the background right there. You can see like the smokestacks and stuff. And she doesn't care. She's going back to her roots. She trusts herself, and it doesn't matter that chaos is reigning over the world. Zombies, there's hordes of zombies everywhere. Where she is, she's calm, collected, and in control. So that goes back to the energy that I was talking about of learning from the past. The darkness, the pain, the suffering, and everything. Yes, it can bring on a lot of negative emotions. And this High Priestess could be really, really worried that all these zombies are going to come attack her. But she's not. She's very just calm and focused there. You can see, yeah, it got blurry there when I zoomed in. But you can see there, like, she's sitting up there. She's probably smoking something, I think. I don't know that for sure. But she's got her fire. You know, these zombies could come towards her. She's telling them where they are with that fire and stuff. It might bring them her way, but she's not even worried about it. She's sitting there on top of the skull of the ones that have come before her, and she knows the lessons of the past, so she's really using that to take control in the present. And that's a strong meaning of the High Priestess, I feel, is just learning from where you've been, learning from where humanity's been, and really trusting your own inner voice to lead you where you want to be. Because they say, like, the secrets of our, like, the questions that we ask a lot, the secrets that we're looking for really lie within us. And if we take the time to really just listen to our inner voices, have a conversation with our higher selves, meditate, if you will. We can begin trusting in ourselves more and really make our lives what we want them to be. So despite the desolateness around her, the smokestacks in the background and everything, she's in control. So even if something doesn't feel right in our own lives, things are chaotic and we're stressed out, taking a deep breath, just sitting with our own thoughts and listening to our inner voices might help us overcome the stress and even create a better future for us and everyone around us. Zoom back out. Now this next one is actually the entire reason that I purchased this deck. It was one of the months on my calendar a few years back. Yes, I think it's Lewin makes a calendar that's like the tarot calendar that they make every year. I have it hanging up on my wall right now. It shows different decks, like each month has a different picture of a card, or it has like a spread you can use for your own stuff and stuff like that. So definitely an awesome calendar. I highly recommend it. It's fun. It's interesting if you're a tarot fan. But this particular High Priestess is probably my all-time favorite. I love this illustration. And I've seen it a few other places too. There's a book out there that shows this it's the book cover for that book, but I don't remember what book it is. But what I love about it, and I'll zoom in again. Seems like I zoom in and it just wants to get blurry, but you can see there, the High Priestess here holds a key over a book. She's got her eyes closed. You can see even, I could just hold it up, couldn't I? You can see that she's got like tears in her eyes and everything. And that moon that we saw with the High Priestess of the Rider-Waite Smith earlier is now on her head. So it's kind of like she trusts herself and she trusts that intuition of hers. And that trust is like the main focus of her life. And she's got that book open in front of her. And we'll get more into that with the next cards that I have to show you. But it shows just knowledge is power. Taking the time to read about something, to learn something, really gives you the power to trust yourself more. Learning from the past. I keep going back to that because there's so much truth to that. Learning from where we've been can tell us where we want to go next. Like knowing that there's so much darkness in the world, like that has been, and we've overcome that, can really help us to make better choices moving forward and maybe not be so dark. Even today, like I'm just going to use drag queens as an example. Like I've seen recently where Tennessee has banned drag shows, and that bothers me a lot. I don't particularly like sharing my opinions and stuff because everybody has their own, but taking bashing these people or telling them they can't do something, where it's 2023, why are we still doing this? We need to be kind and compassionate to one another. And with that energy of the two that we have here with the High Priestess, that does relate to compassion and empathy, kindness stuff. And it's the pain of our past that gives us the empathy we need to be there for others. So the High Priestess is about more than just being trusting our intuitions. It's trusting those intuitions and staying focused and confident and logical so we can be kind and compassionate to others as well. Be there for others. Be a lending hand, a lending ear. Be kind to one another, and then we can make the world a better place for all. But I do absolutely love this illustration. As I said, this is the sole reason that I bought this deck. I like the other cards in it now too, though. But this one showing up on my calendar is that's what I picture when I think of the High Priestess. Taking the time, looking within, having that key to the universe, that key to knowledge because you've learned from the past. Now this last one I have to share with you might be my all-time favorite. I know I said that with the Arcanum Tarot too. Like I said, I might be the most indecisive person you will ever meet. You can see there's 4 different cards here, and I've shared all 4 of them. They are the same illustration, but they're different colors, and my husband constantly asks me why I need so many different tarot decks and why I need these. If you've seen other videos and you've seen my feed on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, I'm very, very partial to the artwork of Patrick Valenza. He's the artist behind the Deviant Moon Tarot and also, as you can see, the Trionfi Della Lunas. And I've got 4 different copies of them. These are the original Marseilles, so they've got the pip style, just like wands, swords, cups, and pentacles of the minor arcana. But these are the illustrated pips, which I've shared them in videos as well. I absolutely love his artwork. There is nothing like it. But these are some of my favorite High Priestesses, and I've got 4 of them, different colors, and you can see them right here. got the paradoxical purple, the paradoxical rose, the Aquadoxical, which is the illustrated, and the regular, the Trionfi Della Luna illustrated pips, the original one. So I'll move the boxes out so you can kind of get closer to there. And we'll look at the illustrations here. I'd like to know in the comments like which one you like the best. I'm very partial to this pink one. I love the color differences of it. We have all these here. This is the original. I believe it's the same in the original of the Trionfi Della Luna with just like regular pip style pips, or pip style minor arcana, but I don't have that one. These are the 4 I have of this deck, and you can see all the illustrations there. And she stands within fire with a pile of books under her. So it goes back to that energy of reading, learning from where you've been, taking the time to learn history, and so you know how to change it or what you want to do to change the future and make it better. So she's very calm and collected, like we've seen in the other ones. Like, she's not letting emotions get in her way or anything like that, but she stands within fire to show this is kind of a passion of hers as well, to take the knowledge of the past and apply it to the future, so she knows what she wants to create in the future. And all these books under her show she's not afraid to learn something. And I really love that energy as well, because there's no guarantee what these books are, but I personally see them as messages, like books from the occult, and learning the secret societies and stuff like that, and learning the magic of the past. I might be I don't know, a little too open-minded when it comes to this stuff, but I'm a firm believer that anything is possible. I think Merlin was able to use music and vibrations to lift heavy objects like rocks and stuff, to create the foundations and the buildings that we see of the past, that they didn't have the technology that we have today to make it. There has to be a way that they did it, and by taking the time to learn about that, we might be able to do that now, or in the present, or even moving forward. Learning from the past is so important when it comes to what we want to make the future. If we don't learn from the past and we don't take the time to learn from it and understand it, and not let emotions cloud our judgment when it comes to it, then we can use that knowledge to not repeat those same mistakes. There's always this message in my head, and I've heard other people say it too, and it's one of my favorites. If you forget the past, you're doomed to repeat it. So taking down all these statues of Confederacy and stuff like that, hundreds of years from now, who's to say if there's nothing left of that time, if there's no history left of it, and we forget it, we'll be doomed to repeat it. We'll be doomed to make those same mistakes again. It's the power we possess as human beings to understand where we've come from. That's our ability to make the future what we want it to be. We don't have to make the same mistakes of our forefathers. We don't have to live negative lives or anything like that. Taking the time to learn and really making that one of our passions can give us the power we need to trust our intuitions to make the future a better place. So that was a look at my top 5 and some more favorite High Priestess cards. My favorite hair cards. Yeah, that made sense. And, that's just my opinion about them, my personal favorites. If one of these is your favorite, let me know in the comments. If you have another one that you're this is the best High Priestess ever, let me know about that too. I'd love to see it. I will look it up. I might even add it to my own collection. High Priestess is by far one of my favorite cards of the tarot. It might even be my favorite card of the major arcana. I do believe it really is, because there's so much power to it. There's so much power from learning from where you've been, from learning from the past, from learning from humanity's past, your own past lives and stuff like that. You might not remember them, you might not have been there, but there's much knowledge to be learned from the past. So that's a look at my 5 favorite, and then some, because 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess 9 favorite, plus the the Rider-Waite Smith High Priestess, because we can't forget that one. That's one we definitely love too. And I will show you one final thing of the High Priestess, just how much I love this card. This is my wine bottle, the Prophecy wine, and it has the High Priestess illustration on there. I have 2 more, the Emperor and the Star. I don't drink wine. I'm not a huge alcohol drinker. I have partaken in it before. Personal favorite alcohol is Guinness, but that's beside the point. You can see, still very much closed. I haven't opened it yet. They say wine gets better with age, so who knows? I might open that in the future, and I might love it. But that's a cool little High Priestess thing I have. It's neither here nor there. It's not in a deck. But that's a look at my top 5 favorites. Let me know which one you like the best. Let me know if there's one that you like that I don't have, because like I said, I might very much want to add that to my collection. Even if the High Priestess doesn't show up in your reading and you still want to read the tarot cards, don't doubt yourself. Yourself, trust your intuition. Look at these illustrations. See what they tell you. Like here, you can see her there. What do they say? Like, how do they speak to you? What do you think of when you look at them? That's the whole basis of tarot. It's trusting that inner voice and trusting yourself. As always, I really want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next one.